Karoline Leavitt thought she could dominate the room with her sharp tongue and television-ready bravado. Convinced that her bombastic style would rattle even someone like Denzel Washington, the 30-year-old firebrand from New Hampshire had built an entire persona around delivering flashy sound bites, tearing into opponents during hearings, and feeding her base with culture war theatrics. But when she tried that playbook on Denzel during a House Judiciary Committee session, she walked into a moment she couldn't control. What unfolded in less than a minute stunned everyone in the room, jolted the political world, and elevated Denzel Washington into a whole new echelon of influence. Denzel didn't just respond, he dismantled her. Calmly and precisely, in a way that silenced even Karoline's own allies. The takedown was so icy, so surgically executed, that even Republicans accustomed to cheering her on had to nod in reluctant admiration. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Karoline, once leaning back with smug confidence, lurched forward like a wave had knocked her off balance. Her expression went from cocky to completely blindsided. Even Jim Jordan, usually the conductor of these political circuses, sat speechless. This wasn't just a tense exchange, it was two worlds colliding. And Karoline had just learned the hard way that Denzel Washington doesn't flinch. To grasp why the room lit up, it's essential to understand who these two people are. Karoline Leavitt didn't come to Washington to play nice. She arrived swinging, determined to grab headlines, lob partisan grenades, and brand herself as the heir to the MAGA media throne. Her every committee appearance was a performance, twisting facts, interrupting colleagues, and creating clips tailored for Twitter and primetime outrage. She was a political tornado built for clicks, not compromise. But Denzel Washington. He's something entirely different. He didn't enter politics for fame or control, he already had that. He stepped into the Capitol because people demanded someone who would speak truth with weight and integrity. Born in Mount Vernon, New York, and forged in the fires of real activism and decades of public service outside Hollywood, Denzel carried a presence that didn't rely on volume. He had faced real battles against injustice, inequality, and systemic silence long before walking into Congress. He didn't need the spotlight. The spotlight followed him. From day one, Denzel made it clear he wasn't there to make friends or play the partisan game. He was there to change the game. Karoline came in loud and reckless. Denzel came in calm, focused, and lethal with the truth. That hearing, centered on civil rights enforcement, was deeply personal to him. It was not theory or political fodder. It was lived experience. While Karoline tried dragging the conversation into her usual spin, ranting about woke agendas and parental rights, Denzel simply listened, observing, calculating, and the tension in the room grew with every second he stayed silent. When he finally spoke, it was like a lightning bolt. The hearing stopped being a performance and became a reckoning. Denzel didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult her. He dismantled her argument point by point with facts, lived truth, and a quiet authority that made everyone sit up straighter. This wasn't about theatrics. This was about who actually holds power when the noise fades. Karoline had just finished a loud tirade dismissing federal civil rights enforcement, arguing states could manage on their own without interference. She laced it with patriotic buzzwords, tradition, and state rights, all while basking in the attention, but then she pushed too far. Instead of letting the moment pass, she took aim directly at Denzel. Maybe she thought he was just an actor playing dress-up. Maybe she believed her media polish could eclipse his gravitas. Whatever she thought, she was about to be reminded exactly who Denzel Washington was. She leaned in with what she assumed was a condescending smile, letting her voice dip into 4 respectful tones. Mr. Washington, she began, clearly setting up for what she thought would be her viral moment. But that moment didn't go her way. The room braced. Denzel looked up, not shaken, not surprised, but locked in, and what followed was a map in composure and truth. Karoline wasn't ready. No one was. And that's why the room went still. The cameras caught every flicker of emotion. And Karoline's viral moment became Denzel's victory. all sugar-coated sarcasm. Karoline began with a tone soaked in condescension. I respect your passion. Really, I do, she said with a tight-lipped smile, but passion without understanding. That's just noise. Her voice danced with faux appreciation as she looked around the room. You see, I've been involved in government since before you even thought about politics. She continued, tossing her hair as her staffers in the back started scribbling, sensing she was about to deliver one of her patented viral. She was in full performance mode, posing as the seasoned insider, dismissing Denzel as an outsider pretending to know the game. Her confidence surged as she leaned in, eyes gleaming. When you've actually worked in the political trenches, she said, when you've advised presidents and crafted policy at the highest levels, you realize these issues aren't as simple as you folks from Hollywood like to pretend. Every word was lacquered with disdain. Even some of her own party began to shift uncomfortably. Democrats exchanged looks, weary but cautious, unsure of whether to intervene. Asterisk through it all. Denzel didn't flinch. He didn't interrupt. He just sat quietly, calm and deliberate, jotting on a legal pad. But his closest aides recognized the signals, the slight jaw clench, the firm grip on the pen, and the stillness. That was the Denzel they'd seen in press junkets where reporters got cute, on studio sets where executives underestimated him, and in private meetings where someone tried to reduce him to a caricature. They knew exactly what was about to happen. Asterisk, Karoline, oblivious, leaned in further, misreading Denzel's stillness as submission. Look, I'm not trying to be rude, Mr. Washington, she said in the most patronizing voice she could muster. But when you've worked in Washington as long as I have, when you've been in those back rooms crafting real policy, not just giving speeches and playing roles, then maybe you'll understand why what you're proposing today is so naive. And then she crossed the line with a sly grin and the confidence of someone about to land the knockout punch. Karoline delivered her insult. I mean, come on, she chuckled, easing back into her chair. You're a first-term representative who, let's be honest, spent your life making movies and giving motivational speeches. That's cute, really? But it's not the same as understanding how government really works. The room froze. Papers stopped shuffling. Heads turned. Even the smirks from her allies faded. Karoline had gone from smug to reckless, and she had no idea just how wrong that move was. Asterisk, she hadn't just attacked Denzel's policy or stance, she'd mocked his entire career, his lived experience, and his path to that very room. But Denzel had dealt with this before. He looked her dead in the eye. Public records show your courtroom experience on civil rights cases stands at 0. None, not a single case, not once. Asterisk, it hit like a shockwave. Staffers exchanged lieu.